Hello there, guys, and welcome back to my channel for my live reaction and player ratings. Actually, not player ratings today. My live reaction, instant reaction, and live review. Live stream after Nottingham Forest 2, Chelsea 3. And before I say anything else, all hail the Lord, Captain Reece James. What a goat. What a flipping go. I'm here by myself today because I don't have a lot of time. I've only got about half an hour, so then I've got a dip, so that's why there was no point bringing a guest on, because otherwise we're never going to finish in half an hour. But I am over the moon. I am so elated. Like, this could have gone very differently, right? Let's be real. We didn't play particularly well. So there's a lot of things to also be not happy with, but what a comeback. I mean, Reece James, he just comes on and everything changes. That assist is outrageous. It's outrageous. And also fair play to Pochettino. Nottingham Forest found a way to stop our inverting Cucurella tactic and make it look absolutely amateurish. Poch changed it, initially just dragging Cucurella out wide and making multiple subs. And all of a sudden it worked. Now, we weren't amazing, and Forest still had their moments. And Hudson Odoi scoring was a bit of a crazy moment, especially at that time, them being 2-1 up. Because we now won, I can also still be happy for Hudson Odoi, because I'm sure that would have been a very satisfying moment. Of course, in the end they lost, but because Luton lost as well, they pretty much have safety guaranteed. So not the worst day for them either. But yeah, unbelievable. What a win. I can't even put it into words. And these pictures from the celebrations, Jackson jumping into the crowd, then Reece, and you can see Gusto there. You can see Nkunku and Sterling in the background. I think Caicedo in the background as well. You didn't like that celebration from Odoi. I get it. But at the same time, think about how Callum has been treated by this club. We sold him for 3 million. Think about that. You know what I mean? If I was him. But yeah, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. What a ridiculous game. Let me bring up the lineup. We're not going to do player ratings today because I just don't have the time for it. So therefore, I'm just bringing it up on FOTMob here. This was obviously a lineup. Like in the last games, it's essentially, well, not essentially, it was the exact same 11 that played against West Ham last week. Of course, in possession, Cucurella shifting into midfield in the first half, but Gibbs wide over here with his 2 assists, which I didn't even realize until now. Gibbs wide over here essentially just followed Cucurella into midfield whenever Cucurella tried to invert. And what that meant is that the middle was even more packed than it usually is. And we just didn't know how to build anymore. We just didn't know how to build attacks anymore. And when we did, we were just too sloppy in the attacking areas as well. But before that, we do have to say Mykhailo Mudryk scoring an absolutely wonderful goal with an absolutely fantastic assist. From Cole Palmer, and like I say, a great finish from Mykhailo Mudryk. But unfortunately, we weren't good before that. You know, Forest had their chances. Then we all of a sudden score a goal out of nothing. But even that didn't really help us get control of the game. It was a constant, the usual Poch game, really, like end-to-end, back and forth, except that we didn't have anywhere near as many chances as they did. Let me actually change this. So I'm a little bit smaller and you can see this big. I wish there was like an in-between, because like this, I feel like the screen I'm trying to show you guys is too small. But like this, I feel like it's a bit, I'm too small. Do you know what I mean? And like this, it's even worse. So I'm not a fan. But all the options I have. So there you go. But yeah, it's simply unbelievable. Let me quickly scroll down here to the subs, right? Reece James came on in the 79th minute. Look at the moment of the goals. Reece comes on in the 79th minute. Sterling scores in the 80th minute. Jackson scores in the 82nd minute. Within 3 minutes of Reece James coming on, we've turned this game from 2-1 to Forest to 3-2 to Chelsea. Absolutely unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I wish I could. Maybe I will actually bring the lineup up so we can talk about how the lineup looked in the second half. But oh my days, I just couldn't believe it. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here by myself today, so please get involved in the chat. Let me know anything you want me to discuss. Give me your thoughts. Please elaborate them, though, because if you're just putting snippets, I'm like, what do they mean? I don't know. So there you go. Jackson has 17 goals in his first season in the Prem. Let's see how he improves next season. Yeah, I mean, let's talk about Jackson. Why not? We'll get to Reece James. We'll get to Raheem Sterling, Mudryk as well. We'll get to those guys. But let's talk about Nicolas Jackson, because actually he had an absolute howler today. Like one of his worst games I can remember him having for Chelsea, because he was basically solely at fault for the first goal we conceded, for the equaliser at the time by Boly. Because, well, Badiashile gave a free kick away. Can you argue, did he have to take that? Because we had three defenders still left, or 3 people defending in front of the attacker. Did he have to take that foul, especially so close to the box? If you take him up, and you have to take it earlier. But hey, he did. And no matter how great your set piece coaching is, no matter how great your set piece setup is, right? Defensive setup is, if a player stops following their man and just not even stops running, he didn't even bother walking anymore. He just stood still, even though the ball was flying exactly to the guy he was supposed to be marking, Willy Boly. And then he gives the guy a free header from 6 meters out. It's unbelievable. It's utterly unbelievable. It's a disgrace from Jackson. And not long before that, we nearly conceded straight after he had a big chance to actually score himself. So that wasn't brilliant. He had a few weird diving moments, complaining with, having a scrap with people. I don't know. But the goal was good. I mean, it was a fairly straightforward header, let's be real now. But he had to be there. And he was there, to be fair to him. The set piece coach next season hopefully helps us out. We're so weak in this situation. I agree that hopefully helps us out. The guy we're getting from Brentford, obviously, if people aren't aware. But today, to me, that isn't at all on set piece coach or the coach or whoever. That is just on Jackson. You can have the best set piece defensive structure, like I say. If one just stops walking, well, it's not going to work then, is it? You know what I mean? You can prepare and train and work on that no matter how much you want. It doesn't matter. It's not going to work out, is it? But yeah, okay. So you guys are talking between each other. That's fine. Maybe, I have an idea, actually, guys. If you have something that you want to say to me and you want me to read out, or you want me to, I don't know, ask me, just put at Laurenz at the beginning. Just an idea. Please do that, because obviously, like Atlantean said here, at Joe Barder, I know he's talking to Joel, not to me. So if you actually want something to me, so I don't have to miss every message, because when I'm alone here and I'm speaking constantly, it's very difficult to speak and read, at least for me. Others might be better at this. So yeah, if you want something that's actually meant for me, just put at Laurenz at the beginning or at the end, doesn't matter. I was going to say that win was beautiful, bro. Kuzi, yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, the performance wasn't fantastic. I think we all know. I think we all agree. But, well, do I care? Oh. do I really care? But hey, it was nice. Also, Newcastle dropping points against Brighton today, which I didn't necessarily see coming, which puts us level with Newcastle. Obviously, we're still, I think, 11 goals behind them on goal difference. But obviously, Manchester United and Newcastle play each other midweek. And if Newcastle had won all the other games aside from the United game, we needed United to beat them, which right now didn't really look particularly likely. But now that they've drawn already, a draw against United, as long as we win our games, would actually be enough to overtake them and actually make 6th, which is pretty unbelievable. Hello, mate. Mason, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Vic says, we're not here for you, Laurenz. Stay on your lane. Sorry, bro. Ricky, pick up yourself. He says, what a Reece James performance, man. It was so good, honestly. That first time cross, also the first time pass from Caicedo to Reece James was outrageous. But on the volley, on the bounce, it's basically a half volley nearly. A half volley cross, after being injured for 5 months, is outrageous. Reece James, if that man ever stays fit, he'd be the best player in the fucking world. Honestly, the only sad thing about Reece James is that he's a right back. And not that there's anything wrong with being a right back, but he's so good. He's almost a little bit wasted at right back. It's a bit of a shame. But hey, let's not be negative about it at all. But yeah, like Joe says, that pass from Caicedo, also outrageous. Absolutely, really outrageous. Mason says, shame Tottenham got their second goal today. Never mind. Yeah, obviously, Spurs, Burnley was 1-0 for a while. Did Burnley initially take the lead? I didn't even know. I was busy and I didn't see the live scores until it was already 1-1 anyway. But yeah, Spurs won it. But at the same time, I'm so confident that Man City will win the FA Cup against United that whether we finish 5th or 6th doesn't actually make a difference. No, sure, it would be nice and funny if we finished there to Spurs, but we also need to be realistic a little bit at this stage. Sterling actually decided to show up. Also, for me, he played different today. Don't know if you remember, but he also passed the chance for Gusto. It's true. Yeah, Raheem Sterling, obviously, you haven't seen much of him, if anything, for a while, for weeks, really, with injuries, food poisoning, all sorts of different stuff, right? But yeah, it was really, really interesting. What formation did we play after the subs? You know what, Fire Red? Let's get on that. I know I had Fotmo up here, and we'll get back into that with the stats as well. But let me bring the lineup screen up. I don't have anything ready yet, but, we'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Stay with me, guys. Appreciate you all. By the way, if you want to donate and just help me out, please do use the Super Chat function. Always massively appreciated. So I'll put the lineup up that we started with. Cucurella. Buddy Shield, who, by the way, is still a bit of a liability for me. Thiago Silva, still amazing. Still can't believe he's not staying. I don't understand why we wouldn't at least. Again, if he didn't want to, fair enough. But I think he would have wanted to. His son, by the way, I'm not sure if people are aware of this, but Thiago Silva's sons, both of them, including one that won a under 16s, 15s trophy with Chelsea yesterday or 2 days ago, they're staying at Chelsea Academy for the next year and a half or year, even though Thiago Silva is moving back to Fluminense in Brazil. So, like, no one can tell me that if we offered it, that Thiago wouldn't have stayed. I guarantee that he would have done. I absolutely guarantee that he would have done. But yeah, so this is the team that we started with. Then in the first half, we did what we did the last few weeks. Mudryk there. To be fair, Palmer was shifting. Palmer was also sometimes on the left. That's where he assisted Mudryk's goal, which was obviously a great assist. And then obviously we did this, but it just didn't work. I said it earlier. Forest just pushed their winger inside. And is that too simple to stop a whole tactic? But just doing that? Yes. That shouldn't have stopped that as much as it did. But that's how it happened, to be fair. We didn't make any halftime subs, but we changed it tactically. Cucurella stopped inverting. He stayed out wide on the left. Palmer kept dropping deep, and we kind of played it like this, essentially. And then fairly soon, we made a few subs, right? We brought on Malo Gusto not actually for Chalobah. Malo Gusto came on for Badia Shield. You know what? Let's do it differently. I just put Chalobah here now, and I'll not put it as a sub. I'll just put it how we actually played in the second half, right? So we have Gusto there, but then Gusto kind of replaced Mudryk as a winger almost, and Reece James, let me put R. James, was playing as the right back. And then essentially we kind of played this one, and then obviously you had Sterling instead of Mudryk. Did we make another sub that I'm forgetting now? I don't think so. But essentially, that's kind of how we played, I would say. I mean, you could certainly make a case for that it was a bit of a 3-4-3 or whatever. Let me just bring up what I saw earlier. 1 second, guys. Just need to find various things. I mean, you could... What is this? What I'm looking... Oh, yeah, and Nkunku came on. Sorry, guys. Who did Nkunku come on for? Gallagher was replaced as well. My bad. I need to get it up. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit all over the shop today. So let me quickly bring it up so I actually get all the subs right. I hope you're still here. I can't see you guys right now. I can't see the chat. I need to really sort myself a second image for the chat. Usually when I have another person talking here with me, it doesn't really matter so much. But now that I'm by myself, it obviously does matter. So, so Reece came on for Gallagher in the end. Earlier it was Nkunku actually did replaced Mudryk. So there you go. Let me put Nkunku here. And then it's kind of difficult. I guess we did maybe this one and just played it like this. I don't know. But, by the end, to be fair, Cucurella did almost invert again. No. I don't know, man. How would you guys put it out? I'm getting more and more confused. Well over 100 of you here. Appreciate you, Joel. Appreciate you. Gallagher for James. I thought, yeah, you're right, Mason. Absolutely. I'm not sure. Do you guys think we played like this? Was there a second person in midfield? I'm really not sure. I mean, there was periods where you could argue maybe Gusto was here a little bit. I'm sure like Cucurella still pushed in. Maybe Reece a little bit. But Reece was clearly in the wide area, weren't he? So, I'm not quite sure what the exact setup was. Maybe it was maybe it was like this. You know, could it have been like this? You know what? I think that is actually the closest to it. Will people agree? I think 4-4-2 with Palmer more attacking. You say Palmer was next to Jackson more attacking. Palmer went to the left. True. See a lot closer to Nkunku. Yeah, that is right. I mean, maybe it was a. But was Palmer permanently on the left? I don't think so. This is my closest guess to it. I'll be honest, guys. I'm not 100% sure. But hey, there you go. It's a bit like a reverse Christmas tree. Hey, who doesn't like a Christmas tree? No, Nkunku was more attacking. More attacking than what? Obviously, it's a bit fluid, isn't it? So let me not look like a mug tactically. Let me just get to a different screen again, shall we? But let's get to some facts here. Look at the stats. Let's go to all stats. We had 68% possession. In the end, we actually had more unexpected goals. But you can see their total shots. Nottingham Forest had 20, and I feel like half of ours came at the very end. We had 5 shots on target again. All of that happened at the very end. They were showing stats throughout the game. And Forest were absolutely battering us, in particular in the first half. Like they had 8 shots, we had 1 or something. We scored from that, but even still, we had apparently 5 big chances. I'm not sure which big chances we were supposed to have missed. Gusto missed one. Good save by the keeper, to be fair. I think it actually should have been a penalty in the follow-up because Gusto shot, the keeper saved it, then he got taken out. But had he not been taken out, I think he would have got the rebound. So therefore, why isn't it a penalty? To me, wrong decision. Some people would maybe argue that Gallagher could have seen red in the first half. I disagree. For me, it was the right decision. What other big chance did we miss? I had a Jackson 1v1, I suppose. Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. But yeah, the performance wasn't great. Expected goals, why you've overdone it here a little bit, I would say. But anyway, you look at the shots here. They had 11 shots off target, 4 off target for us. They had 4 on target. We had 5 off target. I mean, the passing weren't bad, but I don't know. It just didn't really work, especially in the second, especially in the first half. Like I say, we couldn't really play out anymore. We couldn't really. Mudryk could score a hat trick. Jackson didn't pass it to him when he should have done. Yeah, it was tough to figure out. I agree. It wasn't quite clear, but I said this to my brother as well. And he was like, "Oh, what formation are we playing now?" And I even said to him, "Don't overdo it. Like it's the end of the game. Like at the end of the game, the formation is usually not quite so clear." Shout out you, Joe. Have a good rest of your weekend, mate. Thank you for tuning in. Atalantian says, "Don't you think we got completely outplayed in the middle today? And like I say, they should be doing better against this opposition." It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because I still had a few things to sort out. Because, like I said, I need to go fairly soon again. And I put in our group chat how we like Python, Lewis, and Dimitar and Aaron, and all these guys. You guys know most of them, Basham, Connor as well. I put it in there. Is Caicedo just not doing anything, or am I just not seeing him? Because obviously I wasn't paying 1,000% attention the first time because I had shit to sort out at the same time. And honestly, everyone was just bad in the first half. I would argue we did have a lack of midfield control, but I feel today, and I often disagree with myself on this, but today I feel like it's a bit simple saying the midfield itself was the issue. I feel the problem itself was the fact that we couldn't keep possession long enough, and the fact that we got turned over way too easily and way too often, right? And obviously, to be fair to Nuno Espirito Santo and Forest themselves, they just did it well. Like they actually managed to find a way to play against our new setup and did it well. Yeah, our midfield lost out on some occasions, but at the same time, like look at recent games that we've had, guys, right? 2-2 against Sheffield, 2-2 against Burnley. These are exactly the type of opponents, exactly the type of teams that we struggle against because they just sat deep and were countering, but they were just really good at that, if that makes sense. Because that's the thing. I think the midfield, it's not like they went through our midfield that often. I feel like they just overplayed the midfield with long balls to the wingers, like where it was to Hudson Odoi or Gibbs White on the other side. It's not like they went through it. But yeah, no, we all know. We all agree, and I don't think anyone has a complaint from that perspective. How are you feeling ahead of the last 2 games, Daniel? Thank you very much for the super chat. Appreciate it, my bro. How do I feel ahead of those last 2 games? It's a weird one. I tweeted it during the first half, or towards the end of the first half, that half almost killed any positivity that I had towards Poch and the rest of the season. Because obviously I was saying over the last 2.5 games that I was like, if the last 3 games go the same way the ones before that had, then Poch must stay because then we've clearly turned a corner. But this first half today showed that we didn't necessarily, not even just necessarily, didn't really turn a corner. All of this is happening a little too late. If this happened in like early April, maybe March still, then we would have had a much better grasp of what's happening and where to go from here. Because then you could obviously also see what happened in the second half. Not only did Poch make a couple of tactical changes that helped, but didn't like bring us back into the game. And obviously Hudson Odoi scored his absolute worldie and nearly scored a worldie before that too when he hit the bar. Thankfully, Caicedo deflected it a little bit. I think without that Caicedo deflection, that might have gone in already anyway. But you could see the difference today in what difference a strong bench makes, right? Like we could bring Reece James on, we could bring Sterling on, we could bring Nkunku on, we could bring Gusto on. What a difference it was. What a difference it was compared to so many other games, right? And of course that makes things better. And of course that makes you think, what can we do next season if certain players stay? My problem is, and why I'm still not, I've been Poch out in a way since that Wolves game on Christmas Eve. I slightly changed my mind after that West Ham game to the extent where I'm like, okay, I'll wait now to make my final decision at the end of the season. But the big problem I have is just that who on earth is out there? I mean, Ornstein said we're not getting Amorim, who I would quite like, even though I have also my issues with him. We're not getting Frick, who I don't want anyway. Jose, I want for the nostalgia, but no other reasons. Conte, absolutely don't want anyone near him. But guys, Ornstein said none of those guys are coming. So then you've got the Serbi there, who I still don't think will happen. And with the season they're having, honestly, it would be a disgrace if we got the Serbi at this point. So who else are you getting? But the problem is the way Poch is talking in interviews now. It's not working out at all, is it? Like, you hear certain things that Poch isn't getting on with some of the directors, and he's trying to, force himself more responsibility and like saying to the owners, guys, we need to be better here. And I guess he's using a good momentum that he has now with a few wins, a few better performances. He wasn't really in a position to complain and to argue and to make demands when we were losing or drawing constantly. I know we weren't losing, actually. We haven't been losing games regularly for a long time now, to be fair to Poch and the team. But in terms of, we still weren't getting results because we still drew way, way, way too many games. One sec, guys. Like I say, we still drew way too many games. Maybe I should bring up a different screen again. Should I bring the lineup? I don't know. You know what? I'll actually bring up again my favorite picture of today. As I'm just waffling and talking to you guys, let me bring this one up again. What a picture it is. I can make myself a little bit bigger as well too, because this works a bit better. But yeah, so I'm honestly still in a similar boat to where I was before this game, I'll be honest. Because this first half was bad. But then when I look at our season, the way we've played exactly these kind of opponents, I'm not surprised, especially like the atmosphere at the City Ground in Nottingham was buzzing from the get-go, because West Ham beat Luton quite comfortably. Therefore, Forest were nearly mathematically safe. The only way, if Luton scored a ridiculous amount of goals in the last two games, and Forest conceded a ridiculous amount of goals in the last two games, that was really the only way they can still get relegated. So they were buzzing from the get-go. The atmosphere was crazy. And I know even though we scored that early goal, it didn't really help us control. And like I say, the Forest just managed to stop our inverted fullback working. And then we changed it around, and then it got a little bit better from there on out. Mudryk was just a waste today. To be fair, James, he was. He really weren't good today. He created lots of danger to Chelsea squad today. 2 times he almost caused goals against Chelsea. I'm not sure when he nearly caused goals against us, if I'm honest. But again, I wasn't paying 1,000% attention in the first half because I just didn't have the time. But it was probably Mudryk's worst game he's had. It really was, because flipping out. It just wasn't good. It just absolutely wasn't good for him. Because usually the thing with Noni Madueke is he will always try. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes he has games where nothing works for him. Fair enough, it happens. But today was so much so that he just didn't even do anything. Like, if I go to Noni Madueke here, 11 out of 13 passes. Okay, that doesn't sound bad, but why did he only have 11 passes? 0 out of 6 dribbles. To be fair, that does suggest that he did try, and it just didn't work out, I suppose. But 1 out of 11 ground deals for Mudryk. Ola Aina, shout out him. He absolutely destroyed him today. Shout out Ola Aina, shout out Callum today. Wing with the super chat, appreciate you. I was going to say my bro, but I'm still unsure whether you're a woman or just use women pictures as Yavi. But whichever one it may be, shout out you. Nico with a rare, bad all-round game, but a goal. Bipolar. Absolutely. Spot on. The opposite of what we've seen very often from Nicolas Jackson. I nearly said Nicolas James for some reason. Who's Nicolas James? If anyone's called Nicolas James, hit him up. Anyway. Because quite often Jackson has had games where he hasn't scored, but played really well overall. And otherwise, he always plays well overall, and sometimes he does get a goal. Today, he was really terrible. Cost us the goal, missed some chances, was messing up link-up situations where he could have had assists or at least created chances, and he just messed it up. But then he gets himself the winner in the, 82nd minute or whatever. Hey, 17 goals in all comps. What is it, 14 in the Premier League alongside 5 assists? Hey, it's a tough one. Like people have a lot of criticism about Jackson, and so do I. But I think people sometimes are a bit quick to forget that the kid is 22. Like, he's 22. It's obviously Palmer is even younger. Palmer only just turned 22 like last week. But not everyone is Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer is very, very special. Kudos to Poch for affecting the game, at least today. Absolutely, Gabriel. Exactly my input as well. I would say the same. Like, I've been very critical of Poch many, many times, but when he does something well, I have to give credit where credit is due. And even like to begin with, like we played the exact same 11 that started against West Ham. That made sense to me. Keep consistency. Why change a winning team? We were absolutely brilliant. But then he saw, okay, weren't working. Before making subs, at halftime, he already changed the fact that Cucurella was inverting. Then he saw, okay, we still need a little bit of a switch. Bring Gusto on for Chalobah. So now that we don't have an inverting wing back and actually 3 centre backs at the back, you need 2 actual fullbacks. And Gusto coming on alone already helped us a lot. Like, he created so much danger. The overlaps, like, it also stopped a lot of the threat from Forest's left-hand side, for me anyway. Now, I know Hudson Odoi still scored and Hudson Odoi still had a big chance. Sorry, look, guys, let me take a quick drink. It's a bit weird when I'm by myself and I'm constantly talking. I can't even drink a sip of water. Okay, Wing, I'm a little bit confused by this, but big up you. You do you, my person. Sorry. But yeah, kudos to Poch, I suppose. When everybody is fit, I just don't see Madueke fitting into the 11. I agree. Madueke is a good player, a squad player to have. In certain moments in the season, he will be impactful. He will have good games. But usually he will be an impact sub. And with the amount of left-footed right wingers that we've signed, Esteval Willian, Angelo, obviously currently being at Strasbourg, at the latest 2 years' time, Mudryk won't be here anymore. But for the moment, he's not today. But he's done all right recently, and I like him. He's a nice kid. So, what would I say? Who would your man of the match be? So that's an interesting question. I think officially, Cole Palmer got it. You can make a case for Cole Palmer, I suppose, because obviously he played the whole game and was pretty good the whole game. But I'd honestly still kind of maybe give it Reece James. I know maybe that's a bit silly, but I just felt Reece coming on and Reece. And the big credit that I have for Reece is that he didn't take it lightly. Like, this was his first game in 5 months. This was his first game since he got that bad injury, then had the surgery. Obviously, they've been taking it slow. He's been back on the grass and back training with the ball and with the team for a while. So, like, they didn't rush him back in the slightest. But he looked so sharp from the get-go. Like, and he just changed it. I mean, Wing says today is probably my favorite Cole Palmer performance. I'm not quite sure I agree with that, but he was very, very good. I mean, that assist to Mudryk was outrageous. Great goal by Mudryk too. Don't get me wrong at all. A lot of the credit has to go to Mudryk too, but the pass was special. Palmer had nearly another really good assist. He had that little nutmeg moment that was similar to that Everton one at home. Yeah, I'd probably still give it Reece James, even if he only came on in the 79th minute. But in terms of players that actually played most of the game or all of the game, yeah, probably Cole Palmer because, well, no one else that started was particularly brilliant. Cucurella was good second half, I agree. But first half, not that it was necessarily his fault, but he wasn't great. Still 89% passing accuracy, 1 out of 4 long balls. Okay, could be better. 3 out of 7 ground balls. Yeah, certainly not his best game, but yeah, I just like the attacking control he has. He's not forward, so I think his goals are going to dry up eventually. A performance like this is more dependable. It's a good point. It's a good point to make, to be fair. Was found out in a... Now, I disagree, Kevin. I don't think it's Cucurella as an individual doing anything wrong or not being good enough or anything. I think it's just tactics beat tactics. Forest just found a way to stifle the way we tried to play or we played the last few games. And Cucurella's passing options were just limited, and therefore he could just pass it sideways and backwards. In a game like today, is where we missed Enzo. If we play the same structure, and not to have a big go at Caicedo, but it's not like we were defending anything in midfield anyway. If you had Enzo next to Cucurella today, and you had Cucurella there to create angles, you had Cucurella there to be the person to receive the layoff, and then just one-touch pass it to create gaps. And then you have Enzo next to him who finds the line-breaking passes, whether it's over the top or on the ground. Everything changes. Not that Caicedo is awful at it, but that's obviously what Enzo is special at. No, Christian, honestly, I'm giving you a 5-minute ban for this because stupidity is not tolerated. I'm not banning you long term, but maybe I did actually accidentally ban you. Caicedo was good at what though? He obviously great ball to Reece James, but did we break any lines in the first half? No. Is Cucurella there to do that? No. So who is Caicedo? And he didn't do that. That's all I'm saying. But again, it's still a bad first half, and he went back to his old time. No, but in this case, Banana, I think he needed to, because clearly Forest stopped us playing the way we wanted to in this different shape that we've been doing for 2.5 games. And then I think it's good to have a plan A and a plan B, don't you think? Like, sure, you can argue the plan A that we played until Villa second half never really worked, but we still at least have a second plan. Okay, if you're trying to stop this, well, then we'll play the other way around. Do you know what I mean? I'm not sure if people agree with this. But That is me. Anyway, let me quickly touch on Mudryk because I haven't really passing weren't great. 11 out of 17 passes, but he scored a nice goal. 3 out of 3 dribbles. Very nice compared to 0 out of 6 for Mudryk, obviously. Ground duels, 5 out of 8 as well. So he had a decent game. But as usual, he just got a little bit quiet. I just wish he made more of these types of runs that led to that he scored from. If he made more of these types of runs, I know it helped because Palmer was a bit on the left. Then he probably felt more, inclined to receive those passes. But he's played a lot of the season with Enzo on his left. If he makes those runs, Enzo will find him. So, not the best game, but yeah, Jackson we already talked about. Cole Palmer, wonderful assist, good game overall. Mudryk, we spoke about. Gallagher, I thought was quite poor. The problem is that the old tactics, Plan B, aren't good anyway. We good overran in midfield, got overran, I assume you mean. As soon as he used the old tactics, I would argue we got more overran in midfield in the first half than in the second half. But yeah, no, absolutely, things aren't perfect with the tactics, absolutely. But is it surprising? No, especially at the beginning of the second half. Nah, I disagree, Wing. He wasn't terrible. He wasn't terrible. Disagree with the bad defensive effort as well. He made a really important block or, put the Forest player off at the edge of the box when he was about to pull off a shot. That was really good defending from him as well. I think it was decent today. If I gave him a rating for Mudryk, I would probably give him a 7. 7 out of 10 with the goal. Outside of the goal, I'd probably give him a 6, 6.5. That's what I'd say anyway. But yeah, I'm very soon going to have to wrap this up, guys. So if you have any other things you really want me to quickly talk about or whatever, please do. But yeah, all I can really say and all I really want to say again is Reece James, I love you. Reece James, I really, really do love you. Yeah, Gusto is another interesting one. Obviously, he did really well. It was great to see him back on. It's just, Gusto is really unlucky. Gusto could have had so many goals, and whenever he has these almost tap-in goals, he never really manages to make it work. Mostly through to bad luck rather than incapabilities. But yeah, it's a tough one. Who else came on? And Kunku looked decent. 88% passing, 15 out of 17 passes, 1 out of 1 tackles, 4 out of 7 ground duels, 2 out of 2 aerial duels. Didn't attempt to dribble. Didn't really have much of an assist. Had 0.12 expected goals. I don't know. The conundrum this manager will have next season with 100%. With everyone 100%, hard to pick 11. 100%, everyone will have that problem, especially when this season you've played so much of the season with a lot of the usual starters injured. So therefore, other people became usual starters and have started to expect playing regularly, whether that's Mudryk, whether that's Gallagher, as much as I like Gallagher, everyone being fit. I still don't think Gallagher starts necessarily. You're beginning to like Chalobah. Gabriel, I would like to give you props, but also shame on you. Why is it taking this long? Chalobah is the GOAT, mate. But yeah, Nkunku, Reece James, even Gusto obviously was injured a lot. So many of the big players just didn't play a lot this season. So things are going to have to change. Etse asks me, can you, Nico J, to stop the too many touches? Yes, I will text Nico Jackson and I would tell him. No worries, of course, mate. Cucurella has Cucurella good, or has the system of lately been making him look good? Because today something was kind of worrying. Both. Cucurella was good. He has been really, really good. But, if you put someone... think of Jorginho, right? Jorginho had unbelievable games for Chelsea. But certain games we played, the opponent just kind of man-marked, nearly, Jorginho, and then he couldn't dictate play as well because he was so closed down every time. If the movements around him then aren't good, then he can't find the passes. And Jorginho is obviously a much better midfielder and passer than Cucurella is. So if he is tight on, he can make simple one-touch passes, but they're going to help us get out of pressure. But then you need someone still playing the decisive pass further up. But the thing is, Forest didn't press. Forest just pressed our midfield. They didn't press our defenders. They just made sure that the midfield was compact, and then they had a compact pack line. That was what they do. They kind of defended in 2 blocks, right? And then we couldn't get through midfield. And then on the few occasions that we did get through midfield, we still had a wall of defenders to get through in the final third. And it just made it difficult. We can be complain about our own game and our own performance, and we should, but we can't pretend as if we're playing against, I don't know, mannequins, right? We're playing against an opponent, and they did well, and then we found a way around it, and in the end got a goal. got a win. So that is very, very nice to see. Ladies and gentlemen, I do still have some shit to sort out, and I need to leave my house in about 45 minutes at the very latest. So I'm going to have to go. Sorry that I couldn't stream longer today. It's really unfortunate. It might be a similar situation next week. Next weekend, I'm not sure. What time do we even play against Bournemouth? I might be at 4 o'clock in it. 5 o'clock. Yeah, no, I should be fine then. Should be fine. So next week we'll have a proper long stream, and obviously for Brian in midweek as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, please hit that like button for me. It really helps me out a lot, and I appreciate it a lot as well. I can press like here. I didn't even know that. Thank you. Anyway, yeah, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button. It'll be massively appreciated. And yeah, shout out Reece James. Shout out Reece James. I love him. Absolutely love him. What captain. And thank you, Ete. Thank you, Ete. I thought the other problem was most of our players stood still when we had the ball, nobody opening up, especially in the first half. Yeah, I agree. I think part of it was obviously Forest stifled us a little bit with how we played. But also, like, the intensity weren't quite there. It felt like one of those games, and we've had so many of those, where we were so good in the recent games, like against Villa, who are a top team, against Spurs, who are, fairly a top team, and even against West Ham, who were in and around our position in the league, and we battered all of them. And now we go to a team. I wish I could give you a ban. That was harsh. Calm down, Gabriel. I'm not banning you. I'm just saying Chalobah is the GOAT. What was I saying? Completely lost my train of thought now. Yeah, we just didn't have the same intensity. We just didn't have the same intensity today, probably because the Forest were proper up for it. The stadium was good. It just didn't really weren't really working that way. But yeah, now we watch Manchester United beat down tomorrow. Yeah, we will. Or they do something funny and stop Arsenal winning the league, which is also great. Not that they are in a position to win the league, because I think City will anyway, regardless of whether they beat United or not. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you very much to all of you guys that have tuned in. Appreciate you all. Subscribe, like I say, hit that like button on your way out. But yeah, upwards and onwards. I ruined my own outro. Let me start again, shall I? Sorry, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, up the Chelsea, upwards and onwards, and I will see you next time.